Hey everyone, Nick Taylor here from MenajErie Studio, and today we are starting a series about putting together a kit that will get you started in video content creation. We're gonna start with a very bare bones setup and work our way all the way up to a professional setup for video content creation. Let's get started. So before we get started, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, consider subscribing, especially if you have an interest in video content creation, podcasting, learning software to edit videos and audio, maybe just the art of filmmaking, or maybe the business side of filmmaking. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna look at is a bare bones setup. This is for those of you out there that have zero budget. We're gonna try to get a solution together for you, minimizing costs as much as possible, but still getting you great results. With all of these, we're gonna have the same categories and we're gonna go through them for each level of video content creation. And you can find the kit that works for you, your budget, your skill level, and what you're trying to do with your video content creation. The very first thing, obviously, you're going to need is a camera. For the bare bones setup, you're not going to have to look very far. You probably have a wonderful 4K capable camera sitting in your pocket. Yep, that's right. You're gonna use your phone. To get the most filmmaking capability out of your phone, I am gonna recommend that you pick up an app called Filmic Pro. Now, this is a paid app, but it's only $15, and it's going to unlock much more capability from your phone. It basically gives you power over all of the different functions, including the aperture you're shooting at, the frame rate, the resolution, and importantly, the bit rate in which you're filming in. What you'll find typically with the standard built-in video recording capabilities is that they're recording at a low bit rate. This of course saves on space, but it diminishes the image quality. So you might be wondering, what kind of quality can I get from my existing phone? Maybe a cheap iPhone like I have. Well, let's take a look over here. And this is actually filmed right from my iPhone using the Filmic app. Now, of course, the audio you're hearing is through the rig we're currently using, but we'll go over some options for audio cover as well. But from just the looks of it, I think the iPhone with the Filmic app does a really good job, especially compared to our top tier option, which we're filming on right now, the A7S III. So the next category we'd be talking about would be lenses. And this is really where you probably don't need to get any lenses. I mean, you're using your phone. But I should mention that lenses do exist. They have lenses that fit over top of your phone and give you a wider angle of view or a more telephoto view. It's pretty amazing what you can find. Just look on Amazon and there's tons of options out there. But for our bare bones kit, we're going with the focal length that you get right out of your phone. Next category would be filters, but again, for this bare bones thing, you're not even gonna worry about filters. Our next category would be lighting, and this is where I do recommend you pick up something that is for video. Now, the reason you don't want to use traditional fluorescents or even LEDs is there's a problem with flicker. Basically, with lights that aren't meant for video, they might be operating at a frequency that is going to show up on camera as weird banding. So to avoid all that, I recommend getting a video light. You're probably going to wind up with something like an LED panel. Here's an example of an LED panel. There's a bunch of little LED diodes here, and usually on the back you're gonna have some sort of knobs for dialing in the brightness, again, which is a plus from using something that's just a constant brightness like a lamp. One thing you'll find with these panels with the bare LEDs is they're gonna give you a pretty harsh directional light, which is not very flattering, especially if you're doing videos like this, where you're talking into a camera and you're mainly focusing on people's faces. You want something flattering. So that's why I recommend the one that we've listed here. This panel has a built-in diffusion panel that spreads the light out a little bit better and will give you a softer look to your light. And with this built-in diffusion panel, we're also going to cross out the modifier category. You're gonna be able to use this right out of the box with the diffusion that's built in, and you're gonna be just fine. So okay, you've got a camera, you've got the built-in lenses in your phone, we've got a light now. The next thing to talk about is audio. So keeping in mind that we're doing a bare bones budget here, I'm gonna give you an option that you can plug right into your phone. For this, I'm gonna recommend the Rode Smart Lav. Now, if you have a phone that does not have a headphone or mic jack, you're probably gonna need to buy an adapter, but again, you can find these on Amazon for iPhones and for USB-C phones. With the Smart Lav, you're gonna plug right into your phone and you're gonna be able to feed that, clip it onto your shirt, And a lav mic is going to give you great audio because it's bringing the microphone close to the source. And that's really what it's all about. When you're trying to get good audio, you want to get the microphone as close to the audio source as possible. Here's the other great thing. The next category would be an audio recorder, but since you're plugging right into your phone, you're not going to need that. You're going to record directly to your phone, and you're going to avoid anything to do with syncing up audio in post. And it's going to make your life a lot easier, especially if you're new to video production. Okay, so as you can see, this is a bare bones setup, but you are going to want something to put your phone on. You're not just going to want to hold it. So I've got an option for this, and I actually used it for the previous shot. This is kind of a Gorilla Pod. I don't know if that's the exact name, but this is from Joby. And this one actually comes with a phone mount. You can pick this up at Best Buy. I'll also have links below for Amazon. You can clip your phone into it, but you can also take that off. And if you have an action camera or even a small mirrorless camera, it has a 1/4-20 mount, which is pretty universal, and you can mount just about anything on here. So the other great thing about it is it's just versatile. You can put it on a desktop pretty easily. It's got these bendy arms so you can clamp it around something. You can hang it from a rafter. You can probably even clip it on a bike or something, and it will support pretty much any phone just fine. The next category would be stabilization. But again, if you have a phone, there's likely stabilization built into the phone, and you can use this Joby Gorilla Pod basically as a little handheld stand to get shots when you're moving. Gives you a little bit of stabilization. Again, saving money, bare bones setup. This is probably the way to go. Okay, so for the last category, this is where it might stretch your budget a little bit, depending on what you've got sitting at home. To edit these videos, you could do that directly on your phone, but I'm gonna tell you right now, it's not going to be a fun process. So I would say you're gonna wanna use some sort of laptop or desktop computer. So you might be thinking, is my existing computer good enough? Well, I would say if you've bought it in the last couple of years, yeah, probably. If you're editing iPhone videos on it, you're probably gonna be just fine. But you might be saying, hey, I don't have a computer yet. What should I buy? Or maybe my computer is so old, there's no way I'm using it for video editing. Then I would probably recommend the Asus VivoBook M515. The reason I recommend this is because it actually has some pretty impressive specs. This has the newest generation of Ryzen processors. It has the 5700U, which is a 8-core processor, which is, again, incredible at this price point. It also has 16 gigs of RAM, and it's got super fast storage. One more thing I should mention is you're gonna need some sort of video editing software. Now, there are a ton of options out there. There might even be something pre-installed on your computer. There's iMovie from Mac, and there's Movie Maker or Video Editor from Windows. But let's say you have nothing on your computer. If you're looking for something absolutely free, 100%, I'm gonna recommend OpenShot, which is a 100% open source video editing program, which works on virtually every operating system. I'll have a link down below for where you can download that. The next free option would be actually DaVinci Resolve. Might be a little intimidating if you've never been inside a video editing software before, so it's not my first choice for beginners, but it is totally free for the initial version. So another great option would be the Adobe Creative Cloud Suite, specifically Premiere Pro. Now, this is a subscription-based program. If you're a student, you're in luck because you can get this for really, really cheap. We personally use Adobe Premiere Pro all the time, and we also use DaVinci Resolve. If you're looking for tutorials on that, we actually have Greg from our team putting together some tutorial videos for After Effects and Premiere, and that list is growing every day, so definitely check that out if you're interested in the Adobe suite. Okay, so here's one final look at our list for the bare bones setup, and we're bringing this all together for under $1,000, and if you already have a laptop, you could probably get this done for under a few $100s. All right, I hope that was helpful, especially to those of you that are just getting started and don't want to spend too much money yet because you're not sure if this is something you're going to keep doing. For the next video in the series, we're going to be moving it up to entry level. We're going to start talking about an actual camera, some better lights, some better audio, and maybe even building a PC. So stay tuned for the next video where we dive into the next level of video content creation. Thanks again. This has been Nick Taylor from MenajErie Studio. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Leave a comment below and make sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you get notified when we put out future videos. Take care.